Right now I'm going actually to show you some other ways of working with time series. So let's have a look at our data set again. I'm going to open our project in SAS. 1 second. It's called tutorial. So here's the project. And again, I'm not going to add anything else. I'm going to work with the tutorial 2 folder. And for now I'll just run the libname statement, that's all. I'm going only to run one thing. And let's have a look if it was successfully assigned or not. Okay, no problem. So do you want to replace the results? Yes, I don't want to create a separate program. Okay, it kind of replaced everything, doesn't matter. So let's have a look at this point here in the log. It says that the library name was successfully assigned, so that's the only thing I care about right now. So now let's go and let's open our data set that we worked with. Let me find it here in the libraries. We'll go to tutorial, and was called bike data 1. So right now this data set has data points accumulated on a daily basis, right? So that gives us about 731 points. However, it's a lot of data, and this data is disaggregated. It could have been, of course, maybe also collected on an hourly basis, and then we would have like more data points and so on. But what if you would like to predict, let's say, month rides, either total rides or member rides, but on a monthly basis? If you use this data, it will not be really easy to do. But in SAS you have a chance to do it. So you will have to go to Analyze, Time Series, and Prepare Time Series Data. So once you go here, we have our time ID variable. This is very important. If you do not have the time ID variable, you do not have the time series, right? So if you remember, our data was collected on a daily basis. So here in the intervals, we'll have to ask SAS to set it to daily. So it's going to use the variable that we already have, and it's going just, to assign the values that are present in that variable. So we'll have the data starting on the 1st of January 2011, and that data will be finishing on the 31st of December 2012, right? So this is all on a daily basis. But what I would like to do, I would actually like SAS to provide summed values of all rides, either registered or casual, whatever, on not on a daily basis, but on a monthly basis. So the time series variables, we will have actually only one, because we started working with the total counts, right, of rides. So we'll go again to the total rides by both members and non-members, okay? So right now, these are the two variables we're going to be using in our time series. So let's go to the characteristics. And here, if we keep it at the same as input frequency, it will actually be only creating a data set that will have two variables, and both variables, and the date variable will continue being on a daily basis, day by day, on a day-by-day basis. So what I would like to do, I would like actually to change the interval. I will go to the interval, and I will stick to monthly. You actually have more options, so you can choose, what kind of data you want. I will stick to monthly here. Then in the options, we do not worry too much about like different interpolations right now, because we don't need them. However, we'll just say simple aggregation, and in the input we will ask for total, and in the output we'll also ask for total. And data alignment and interval, we can choose end, so that it provides us the end of the month. So we are not going to do any transformations. However, if you choose some transformations, let's say I will just show you what options you have. You can click on add, and here you will have lots of different kinds of formulas that you can use. For example, you can add the log of something, and exponential function. A log is here, sorry. You can also add, let's say, like a square root. You can even add a lot of things like a lag and lots of other stuff. But we're not going to do it, so that's not important so far. So the results, we would like to save a separate data set. Let's say we will call it not, we will keep it not in the work library, because I would like actually to use the data set later to run different forecasts. So we'll call it time bike bike data 1, for example. Actually, just time bike data, and we'll say save. Also, I forgot about one point. Yeah, now we see. Do you see like the library changed here? So another point is this one. So here I have this total count variable, right? If I do not check here replace existing variable, I will actually in the output I will have two. I will have the original variable and also the one that is created here, you know, as a result of the analysis. But I'm fine, you know, with this variable being replaced. So we'll stick to that. Again, we check here, it's okay. Properties, it will give you a chance, you know, to save your output in different formats like we discussed before. I don't want it, so in my case, I don't care about it that much. The only thing I care about is, you know, that I have all the variables set in place. And let's see what happens. So here's what happened. However, it gave us some error. So let's check out what is the error here. I don't see any problem. Okay, so with which expand2 is associated. Okay, so it just tells me that it's going to expire. So this is not so important. Okay, so let's go and let's check. So right now we have actually only 24 data points because we have 2 years of data, right? So it should translate into 12 months per year or 24 observations. The count is, so here it will be 38 multiplied by, let's say 10 to the power of 3, 48 multiplied to the 10 to the power of 3. So it will be 38,000, 48,000, 64,000, and so on. So this data is based on the original data set. However, we changed the aggregation of the data, right? The granularity. So right now we have a monthly data, and now let's you know explore this data. Let's have a look at what these values look like. Okay, so we'll go to describe. Oh, sorry, we'll go actually to graph and line plot wizard. And we'll build again what we did before, a timeline plot. Let's have a look. DT day, and the vertical will be our count. And we can continue if we want to change something. I don't want to change anything. All I worry about is, so we'll say line plot monthly data. And we'll finish and we'll see now what we have. So now looking at this plot, we definitely can see that there is a trend going on here, right? Because the peaks here are lower than the peaks of the rates here in the next year. So this is actually good news for the company, because it seems that people are using their bikes more often, right? So that's pretty much what we can discover here, and it definitely indicates that there is some seasonality, because you see we have actually some fluctuations, right? So we have like lower rides in the winter and higher rides in the spring, lower rides again in the winter, higher rides in the summer, spring, and so on. So that can indicate that there is some seasonality, plus we also have a trend. So you know, before we were not working with this kind of data, we were working with daily data, but right now we are going to run a few forecasts. So we are going to use the simple naive forecast for this one, and we are also going to use the not simple but seasonal naive forecast, and we will assume that there is a seasonality of 12. So what we will assume is that, you know, let's say if somebody rides a bicycle in a specific month, we can predict, let's say, October rides of the next year by using October rides of the previous year. This is the idea. Okay, that's what we are going to try to do, and right now we are going to do it.